Sunday, and welcome to Lady Sharee Gospel Radio Show on Intellectual Radio. If you would like to call in, you could call in at 708-223-8953. Thank you for tuning in to my listening audience. Well, right now we have guests today to Mr. Minister Cortez Mack and his lovely wife, Jerry Mack. How are y'all doing today?
All right, we're doing well. Glad to be here.
All right.
All right.
All right. It's good to see you guys. It's been a while, right?
Yes, ma'am. I was short. Now I'm still the same height. Man.
How are you today, Miss Jerry?
I'm great, thank you.
You're welcome. Well, listen, we're going to get right into our interview. But let me say, we're here live on air every second and fourth Sunday, starting at 11 for 1 hour. So write the number down. You can always call in at 708-223-8953. So right now, we're going to go right into our interview. Praise the Lord.
Praise the Lord.
All right. Okay, Cortez, we know that you are working on.
Oh my goodness.
What are you working on?
Oh man. First, thank you for being here. It's been a while, and it's good to
I
see you.
know it has been a while.
I'm
It's
still
been a
wearing
while.
glasses. All right. Just some film projects outside of outreach, things that we're doing as far as community. But the most important thing is these feature films and short films we're getting out here as used as educational pieces. Really, one with mental illness, one about family structure,
Mhm.
and we're working on two feature films right now. One in Chicago and one in Kenosha, Wisconsin.
Okay, and what are the name of?
The one in Chicago is called My Sister's Cup, and it's an inspirational story about four sisters dealing with the wisdom that their mother bestowed upon them, how it's for sisterhood and forgiveness.
Okay.
And the one in Kenosha is a Christmas movie. It's called A Christmas Love, and that's about a family learning and valuing that love is the best gift during the Christmas holidays.
Awesome. So I know that you are currently working on What About the Children? And that's been around for how long?
Oh my God, we debuted that one in 2011. Has some difficulties in really releasing it, but we finally got it full edited and done and released June 2014. But since then, the movie has been screened at various locations. But right now, we're using it as a community screening and panel discussion uh, in churches, libraries, to bring the discussion, to bring family back and a structure and within our youth. It's a family film, and it has rewoken up, and that's why I created the page, because people have seen the trailer and was like, when is this movie coming out? And
Okay.
it's been out, so we just want to keep sharing it.
Okay, and so what inspired you guys to write What About the Children?
Oh my goodness. What About the Church actually was a stage play. And when we did a stage play,
Mhm.
what caught my attention was the response with the cast who wanted to audition. At first, I wanted to do it as a inner city urban film, but realized when the headshots were coming in, there were other multiculturals coming in and said, "Well, we're dealing with this issue too." So we did it as a play first, and then I sat back for like a year and a half and wrote it as a screenplay. And from that, it to me is a real inspiring film. So that was the encouragement. And then dealing with youth at the time, which I still do in some sense,
Mhm.
but we really want to encourage our youth, communities realize our young people are dealing with something internal, which is neglect. And if we don't deal with that issue, it leads to many other issues for depression, suicidal, XYZ. So that's why we titled the film "What About the Children."
All right. Now, I was very surprised and congratulations. You guys received an Oscar.
Well, not an actual Oscar, but it was an honor to receive a letter from the president of the Oscars. At
Okay.
that time, I just felt, if you're going to share your gift, sometimes we have to step outside our comfort zone and people that we look to have the support. And
Hmm.
I just decided to mail her a copy, the president. And uh, I appreciate the fact she looked at the movie and she responded directly with a letter. And that letter has helped in so many areas as far
Hmm.
as people believing in the movie, because as an independent, it's hard to convince,
Hmm.
if you don't have that large support or funding or national platform.
Hmm.
But that letter has opened so many doors and it helped with the other films.
All right. So now you have a scripture here, Proverbs 10:22. The blessing of the Lord, it make it rich, and it added no sorrow with it. Tell us about that.
Oh Lord. Yes, that's pretty much my scripture I have adopted in my spirit, because when God blesses us, we should be happy regardless
Amen.
what our blessings are,
Mhm.
whether it be, I said the other day, my wife is a blessing,
Yes, she
and
is.
my children are a blessing.
Mhm.
My family, people. Anytime God bless you with something, it's a blessing, and it should not bring sadness to it, because it's a blessing.
It is a blessing. And I hope I don't, she is the president. So we would like to hear some from the president. What would you say something?
Sure. So I'm really here for support of my husband because I believe in exactly the gift and what God has given him to do. It's really a blessing to watch him to have grown so much
Good.
from even being a stage playwright to a film writer.
Mhm.
And I've always said to him that he is truly the gift is in his hands, and it's really have come to fruition for everything that he's set the stage for. We don't. I certainly don't take it lightly because I look at the inheritance that he's going to leave behind, and not just for
Okay.
me, but for our daughters.
It's
And
wonderful.
so I'm totally grateful. I'm very, very grateful to for what my husband is doing and what he is allowing the spirit to lead him and for God to give him those things to do, and he's being obedient to do it.
Yes.
So I mean that's not only looking at it as a blessing for for the people to see, but not only, like I said, he's setting an inheritance for our family and for generations to come. So that's where I'm grateful at. And so what he has spoken about, yes, what about the children is certainly a revamp,
Mhm.
and it causes for great discussion in times like these, because and then dealing with the mental health issue. So I'm into public health,
Okay.
and so it's important to look at the behavior issues that we're dealing with today, not only mental, but you think of people and young people and older generations going through depression, because believe it or not, when people are going through chronic illnesses, there is a bout of depression because you can no longer do that independent thing that you used to do. So
Mhm.
yes, that brings about a change in our lives.
Okay.
It brings about a change in our young people lives because they're dealing with so many things. Just speaking with my mother this morning, she's like, did you see the news and whatever happened on the west side of Chicago? So many people lives were inflicted, shootings or something. But just the idea of them watching those things, hearing those things, that makes an impact,
It
on their
does.
lives. So
That's correct.
and the idea that he's grown from not only just helping adults, but helping children, our youth, but also impacting our adult generation as well.
Yeah.
So
So, and what I would like to say, because I know there has been issues of young people, I mean, all people, but really because we're talking about the children, but there has been some reports of deaths for young kids, you
Yes.
know. So that's really it gets your attention. It's like what's going on.
absolutely.
So we thank God we do have a new mayor, you
Hmm.
know, Mayor Lightfoot, and we're praying for her,
Hmm.
Hmm.
and their team, because it would be nice to see our children to be able to go out and play again, to jump
Absolutely.
rope, do the normal things that children do. So, what can you recommend that you think might help?
Well, I think one of the things that we normally have to do is, and I'm gonna put this on the young generation side with their mentality. Young people have to be honest with themselves and stop allowing themselves just to keep it real, because
Mhm.
keep it real is just a suggestive mentality. But when you're honest with yourself and you know where you're at, and if there's some inner issues you're dealing with, you have to be able to talk honest about them. But we're trained and conditioned to keep all these emotions, feelings inside and let them burst. And when they burst, it's
Mhm.
almost too late.
Mhm.
Or sometimes it is too late. In regards to young people dying, it's just amazing that I even wrote a short script about teen bullying and suicide.
Okay.
And it was so, what's so, I want to say funny, is that it's in the film industry, it's hard to get actors to portray those type of images because everybody is want this hard glamorous role.
Mhm.
But see, I'm on the educational side with a lot of my short films because we need those in our schools to be on television.
Mhm.
Remember we going to school, they have the movie breaks. Now we're watching these educational pieces about sex ed and all this stuff. That's where I'm at. We need to show current films of those because our young people are dealing with a lot of emotional and mental
Mhm.
uh, instabilities right now.
That's true. All right, you're listening to Lady Sharee Gospel Hour on Intellectual Radio. You can call in at 708-223-8953. Now, you have some film that I would like to list or mention. My Sister Cup,
Yes.
Endless Love,
Yes. Oh Lord.
which my husband and I
We're gonna
are
talk about that
part
one.
of that one. So, what's
Yes.
going on with Endless Love
Let
lately? I
listen.
know you've been working on that one as well.
That's have been the hardest film to get out.
Really?
Yes, and I think it's because the severe attack on marriage.
Hmm.
I've been trying to get that done for the last 3 4 years, and this year I've literally. It's unfortunate my editing skills are not the best, so I had to depend on um, other people to get it done.
Okay.
But um, this is
And
like
this
my
is a documentary, right?
yes,
Is
my
this the
first
one we did over
documentary.
at the university?
Yes,
Okay.
and this has been a challenge because um, it's hard to for people to see your vision when you put your vision in somebody else's hands.
Hmm.
And that's what I've done because once again my editing skills ain't the best. So, but see, it's costly,
Yeah.
and hopefully I'm praying that uh, it's actually in progress to get done finally. That's why I shared some clips. But hopefully it'll get done soon because I really need, well, I pray and hope God really need this message of marriage to get back out there. Because there's a lot of challenges in
Okay.
that ministry.
All right. And what about Bobby, the short educational health film?
Bobby is a short film about a black man suffering through the early stages of mental illness. And that was inspired because of the dilemma we're having in the conversations globally about mental illness.
Hmm.
The unfortunate thing about it is that, and I'm being honest about it and truthful, is that in our community we don't really deal with mental illness in the black community. and
Hmm.
and I use the term of saying, because from church we say Jesus the mind regulator, and we didn't kind of went that direction, but mental illness is real.
Okay. And Jerry, now you say because that's your background,
Mhm.
correct?
Yes.
So, what are some of the signs of mental illnesses?
So when you're dealing with, because that's such a broad statement when we say mental illness, because it could be so many different facets of it. So one of the things we pretty much want to look at is like depression and withdrawal. We pretty much want to look at the behavior change of what we thought is normal or what we think is normal to an abnormal behavior. Um, and then it's also, when those types of things are happening, that should prompt our attention to say that, hey, something is wrong, and not be shy from it. As Cortez was saying, we have to have to start having those honest conversations. And sometimes I know we can shy away from that because within our culture, it's that stigma of, oh, they just crazy. No, there is something wrong. I can remember back when I was growing up, and my uncle would, basically be saying like he sees stuff on the floor or he sees something crawling on the wall, and it was more so we thinking it was some things could be drug related, right?
Mhm.
But it wasn't so much as he was being sober minded at the time. And the fact that it's like, okay, well, he sees something on the wall, he sees something crawling, he see, all of those different things, and we dismiss that. And so you just think, oh, he's just crazy.
Mhm.
But in essence, something was going on,
Mhm.
because it was abnormal behavior. But just some of the things that we need to start just being aware of and not dismissing it. So putting in your mind not to dismiss those things that you see that are abnormal.
Yeah.
If it's abnormal, we need to say something.
Right.
So I think, and it's so funny that we're talking about this because our 11-year-old daughter was just doing a paper,
Mhm.
an argumentative paper about why she thinks that why mass shootings should be should be talking about more about mass shootings and what solutions we should have. And so, I mean, it was just interesting to see this 11-year-old mind to go through these things and think about Columbine and think about Parkland and just thinking about all those things. And she says, well, these people that committed these crimes, they were not only being bullied, but these people were being isolated. Nobody's watching, nobody's saying anything to them when the behavior has changed. And
Okay.
so that's part of like, a behavior change, that mental illness that brings about a mental illness.
Is there a hotline or something to call, or how does that work when you realize that a person might have a mental illness?
Mhm.
What next? What do
I
you do?
Well, so I don't specifically know a particular hotline, but just some things that we can kind of like be aware of. If you have a family member, and one thing we don't realize is that on the back of, if you have insurance, like on the back of your insurance card, there's this thing that says behavior health.
Mhm.
And so that makes a difference.
Mhm.
So nobody really wants to use the behavior health part of your insurance. Use it if you really need it, if you think something is going on with you.
Mhm.
But that's one of the things. Pay attention to what's on your insurance card. Pay
Mhm.
attention to, these social services that are in the city of Chicago. There may not be many mental health centers that are around, but there is. I'm sure if you call like a 311 or something and you say, I need some help, or if you call the suicide hotline, I need some help. So these things are readily accessible to Google, to even have that word of mouth, well, that conversation with people. There again, to be around some supportive people to guide you in that direction that you need to go. So I don't
Okay.
think that all is lost, with us not having help out here. We just got to find it,
All right.
and ask for it.
Okay. And the short film Reflection.
Oh, Reflection was a collaboration. I wrote a script entitled Split Image, and it's about a son mimicking his father starting his day out. And I submitted to one of my young filmmakers in Joliet, and he rewrote it as Reflections. And that film went end up in the first Joliet Short Film Festival, and it won.
Best film winner.
Yeah,
Awesome.
I'm trying.
Best?
Well, I'm trying. You
Awesome.
know what? I'm trying. But I give shout out to Michael White of Road to Eternity,
Mhm.
Christian Film Productions.
Okay. And Dinner Table. Short film.
Dinner Table is a short film about how we do not sit at the dinner table and eat anymore.
A family unit as a
As
family.
a family
Yeah.
unit.
Okay.
And it talks about how everybody comes to the house and go in their separate rooms or spaces and eat their food. And it really makes the mom feel some kind of way.
All
So,
right. You're
yes.
listening to Lady Sharee Gospel Hour on Intellectual Radio. You can call in at 708-223-8953. Now, we talked about The Power of One, which is a short film, correct?
Yes.
All right. And what about Just Like Us?
Just Like Us is a short film about the support that people with STDs and HIV suffer, and it's another educational health piece.
Mhm.
We tried to film that, but once again, you have actors, but many people don't want to be a part of these educational short films. So
Okay.
we're still working on that one.
All right. Pray for the USA.
Oh, short film is
We
about
definitely need to pray for the
and
USA.
that script been I've had that script for at least 4 or 5 years, and it's been hard to get even a church involved. And that setting for that script is inside a church. So
Okay. And it's about how we all need to
to
pray
come
for the
together,
unity of our country.
yes, ma'am.
Yes. All right. I know our veterans would appreciate that, right? Come together for the country because they're out there, fighting for us,
That's right.
keeping us safe. So we do appreciate all of our veterans. Yay!
Right.
We
Woo!
appreciate you. All right. So this is wonderful. And I know a lot of, I mean, you really have a dynamic background of, you were born and raised in Chicago, Illinois. You graduate from Columbia College, and you have a bachelor's degree in business management. You've just done a lot, so
Board
it's
life.
really,
Hello.
yeah, it's really a lot to read. So how do you guys work together with JKBU? I know you're the president and you're the, what's your title? What's your title?
Just a writer, director, producer
Yeah.
part.
So how do you guys combine your skills together
Well,
as a married couple?
it's uh uh and I must say sometimes it's sort of kind of uh challenging on my end because what she has, as far as in the health field, I have to learn and study because even like with the mental illness piece, Bobby, with there's a piece I'm working on called Afterthoughts dealing with PTSD. So when I'm going into those areas, I really have to go and seek her experience, her knowledge, in order to make sure my script makes sense, is right, accurate,
Hmm.
even with stats. So even with that, and then when we're doing other films, she's helped a lot with locations.
Hmm.
We try to use all our resources,
Hmm.
because independent filmmakers, it's hard to get locations, especially when you don't have this multi-million dollar budget. So
All right. Did I ever ask you what started you to writing? What, I know you really are a good writer. I think I told you that
I
before.
try.
Yeah. You really
It,
are a good writer, right, Jerry? He's a good
Oh
writer.
yeah, excellent.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Hmm.
she's saying it because the poems I wrote her back in the day.
I mean, that's a start.
You guys been married how long?
Over 19 years.
Wow.
Yeah,
Cool.
we thinking about what we're gonna do for 20. So
Maybe renew your vows or something.
No, I want to go away.
You want to go? Oh, she want a vacation.
listen.
You work on
Right.
it. You have something to do. Work on that
Oh
vacation. 20
Lord.
years. That's very good. Very good. So yeah, really. But what started you to writing?
To be honest, it literally had to be a gift from God. And the reason why I say this, and I shared this with my wife, when I look on both sides of my family,
Hmm.
my mother's side, my father's side, nobody has no entertainment background, no writing
Okay.
background.
Okay.
So it had to be a gift. And I started writing poetry,
Mhm.
short skits for the church. I dabbed into gospel music, producing and writing songs for artists that I created, um, and then flipped over into film. So the gift of writing, just I believe, this was sewn inside of me because I literally, I'm not one of those people who have that hereditary passed down
Mhm.
type things. So I just thank God for it.
All right. Well, let me say that if someone is interested in the one for the children, what about the children?
Yes.
How do they reach you to come to their church or wherever for an event or whatever?
Well, various ways. Number one, I would almost say Facebook because I'm the only Cortez Mac, and that's easier. Uh, I do have email, my phone number, which is text. I do have a Twitter account, which I'm very all not on much, but it's various ways. Excuse me, but I would suggest probably social media, and I can give people my number. They can text me, and set up a screening. I can always send a trailer,
Hmm.
um, and and if they need a private screening before they bring it to their church, wherever they decide, that's fine as well. So my whole thing is really trying to get the message out there and bring the community together, especially the families, so the families can heal, and that's what it's all about.
All right. Wonderful. Well, thank you guys for coming on today.
Thank
It's
you for having
always
us.
good to see you guys.
Mhm.
So I know we're working on the sponsor thing
Yes.
for what about the children? So okay, so we're gonna end our interview.
Yes, man. We
Okay.
appreciate it.
Well, thank you for having us.
And
Yes.
thank
Thank
you.
you.
All right. So and we'll have a break. Okay.
I'm here for a purpose. There's a calling on my life. He's working through me. I'm sure no longer worthless. Now I know who I am. What you get is what you see. His joy, it keeps me strengthened. Every day of my life, he's watching over me. Faithful. Take nothing for granted. New life, my health, and brand new mercies. I'm celebrating, celebrating life. I'm celebrating, Oh, I'm celebrating, celebrate life. I'm celebrating, Ooh, I'm celebrating, celebrating life. I'm celebrating, Oh, I'm celebrating, celebrate life. Celebrate. I'm strong. I am a victor. I am one with the Lord. I live from day to day. Been wrong, but a little bit wiser. Rejoicing in the Lord. Always I'm celebrating. Celebrating life. I'm celebrating. Yes, I'm celebrating. Celebrate life. Celebrating. Oh, celebrating. Celebrating life. I'm celebrating. Oh, yes, I'm celebrating. Celebrate life. Celebrating. Everybody get up. Everybody get up. Get up, get up, get up, get up, get up, get up, get up.
This
I
is
know that
Sharee
there's
Bussey
something that the
reporting
Lord has done
for
for you that you can
Intellectual
praise Him
Radio.
for.
In international news, according to CNN, a man accused of swindling $80,000 from a Georgia woman has been arrested in Tennessee and is wanted in other states for similar scams, authorities said. John Martin, 35, connected with a woman from Alpharetta, Georgia on Match.com in late March, the Gwinnett County Police Department said Wednesday. Hill took the woman out on a date the same day they met, and the two agreed to get married within a week of meeting, authorities said. In international news, according to CNN, Coca Cola is hoping a failed product from the 1980s will help it go viral in 2019. The company is bringing back a limited number of new Coke lens in honor of the upcoming season of Strange Things in which the product is featured. In national news, according to CNN, the Federal Aviation Administration is investigating religious discrimination claims against two airports because plans for Chick-fil-A restaurants were scrapped after complaints about the fast food chain's stance on LGBTQ issues. The Department of Transportation has received complaints alleging discrimination by two airport operators against a private company due to expression of owners' religious beliefs on FAA statement said. FAA's Office of Civil Rights has notified San Antonio International Airport, SAT, and Buffalo Niagara International Airport, BUF, that it has opened investigations on these complaints. In national news, according to CNN, it had been more than 2 weeks that she had been lost in a thick Hawaiian forest, and Amanda Ella was on end. The 35-year-old doctor of physical therapy was at a place where she could no longer go forward because of tearing. With a fractured leg, no shoes, she sure wasn't going to go back. In local news, according to ABC, Lieutenant Rob Garlich has been serving our country in Kuwait for 10 months while his wife Elizabeth cares for their 6-year-old children, Eva and Colin. Friday, Elizabeth thought Sears was delivering a grill to their family as a present for Rob's service, but she got something much better. It was tough because I've been watching them grow up via FaceTime, Rob said, after seeing his kids for the first time in July. Colin has been crossing off the days on his calendar at home, counting down to Dad's homecoming. In local news, according to ABC, people in small Illinois town of Millington, 60 miles south of Chicago, are furious. Their bridge over the Fox River is closed for repairs, but that's not why they are upset. Residents say it's been 2 years since the barricades went up and the actual repairs have yet to start. With the population just shy of 700, Millington sits on the Fox River and is reliant on the bridge over the flowing water. 2 years ago, the bridge was closed after it was deemed unsafe because of its limestone piers had settled. In sports news, according to ABC, Addison Russell delivered an impressive all around performance on a wild day. The Chicago Cubs needed every last bit of it, too. Russell homered at Wrigley's Field for the first time since he was suspended for violating baseball domestic violence policy, leading Chicago to an 8-6 victory over Cincinnati Reds. The 5-day weather forecast today will be showers on in at 72 degrees and a low of 59 degrees. Monday will be strong storms late at 78 degrees. Tuesday, a few showers at 71 degrees. Wednesday, windy with few showers at 82 degrees. And on Thursday, partly cloudy at 73 degrees and dry. This has been Sharee Bussey reporting. There's a calling on my life. He's working through me. I'm sure. No longer worthless. Now I know who I am. What you get is what you see. His joy. It keeps me strengthened. Every day of my life, he's watching over me. All right, thank you for tuning in to Lady Sharee Gospel Hour on Intellectual Radio. Remember, we're here second and fourth Sundays starting at 11 a.m. The number is 708-223-8953. Continue to listen in on every second and fourth Sunday. Finally, we will ask that you keep prayers for Pastor Gunn, who has unfortunately lost his mom last night. So we are praying for Pastor Gunn, his family, and his church family. God bless you.